We are talking about this right now with New York State Attorney General candidate Michael Henry. Michael, thanks very much for being here this morning. Look, trying to take politics out of this, give us your reaction to this report.
My reaction to this report is that the governor who portrayed himself as some kind of national pandemic hero was nothing but a corrupt pandemic profiteer who showed himself to be completely unfit for office.
Well, look, he has suggested recently that he wants his old job back. You're running for New York State Attorney General. There are 6 confirmed candidates wanting that job right now, and it looks like Cuomo's one of them. 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. Former Governor Cuomo reportedly planning to go for it and try to run to get his old position back as Attorney General. Tell us about your efforts and your thoughts on Cuomo being a competitor here for you.
Right. I actually announced while Andrew Cuomo was still governor. I was on your show the day he resigned, and I believe he resigned to preserve his political future. And while he might envision 2022 as some kind of narcissistic revenge tour, as I previously said, he's nothing more than a pandemic profiteer, and he should be looking down a prosecution instead of sitting here parading himself around as a potential candidate. Because quite frankly, New Yorkers are fed up with this brand of politics, which in this case not only led to the deaths of thousands, but also the cover-up of thousands during the worst of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, well, what are your priorities, Michael? Tell us what you plan to do should you win as AG.
My plan that I've been focused on are the 3 C's. The first one is crime. There's a lot of criminal justice reforms that have been passed in this state that have led to a rise in crime that's completely unacceptable. All these politicians have gone very far left, whether it's bail reform, the former governor's parole board, parole reform that's coming next, and in a lot of these cases, they're jeopardizing citizens on a daily basis. The second thing would be to address public corruption. The third one, which is my final of the 3 C's, is COVID justice. And we need to, 1, get to the bottom of what exactly happened in these nursing homes, and then secondly, what was going on with the governor's staff, where they were clearly working and using government resources to help enrich him for his own personal gain in a book deal that came out to over $5 million.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that he could actually have a shot to get back into politics and win as the potential AG or any job post what we've seen? What are your thoughts on him wanting back in?
Look, do I think he's a good person? No. Do I think he was a good governor? No. He is a very good political operative, and nothing would surprise me. But I think there's also another element here that people aren't thinking about. He has a lot of money left over in his war chest, and he's utilizing this right now to have his lawyers go on live stream. He's using this to have former staffers attack people in the media on a daily basis. And if he's floating himself out as a political candidate, it looks like he's utilizing these resources for a political campaign. So I think there's an element of that here where it could be him just playing a little bit of a game to be able to utilize this war chest of his. And like I said, it would not surprise me if he did it, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on in his mind. But I do know one thing is that he's not going away, because this is all he knows.
Right. Monica Crowley is with me this morning. Monica, jump in here.
Michael, I live in New York, so I'm so glad that you're running for this office. I think we need to keep 2 things in mind when we talk about Andrew Cuomo. Number 1, he is still under investigation by the FBI and the DOJ. We have to see how those investigations pan out. But secondly, I think there are a lot of Democrats in New York State and maybe nationally who wanted him gone, which is why you saw it get to the point where you had these investigations in the state, you had the report, and you had him pressed to resign. So what is your sense of where the Democratic Party in New York State is right now, and would they even welcome a return by Andrew Cuomo?
No, I think the Democratic Party in the state, there's 2 factions right now. There's the faction that wants Letitia James for governor, which I believe they utilized her to get rid of the governor in a politically expedient way. And then there's the side, which is the Kathy Hochul side, where we have to keep in mind that the state Democratic Party chair is actually a very close friend of the governor and has been supporting Kathy Hochul. I think that the party's moving left, far left. I think that Andrew Cuomo outstayed his welcome. And I believe that what we're going to see, even as we've seen with Kathy Hochul picking someone pretty far left as her lieutenant governor, is that I believe he kind of outstayed his welcome. But the other thing that people forget about Andrew Cuomo is he did play well in more conservative areas for a Democrat. So that's something you always have to keep in mind with him. He was able to convince the public he was one of them, even though he never was.
Yeah, I mean, he kept saying, well, I'm cutting taxes, even as he was raising taxes,
right.
by the way.
Exactly.
Michael, let me get your take on one of the policies that Governor Cuomo oversaw, and that was the elimination of cash bail. And the impact has been just stunning and so dangerous on the population. We just saw what happened in Wisconsin, a similar situation, the impact of no bail, no cash bail, putting prisoners and criminals back on the streets, enabling them to create more chaos and crime. What would you do as AG with regard to cash bail?
Well, one of the things I would do is push to get more Republicans elected to the state Senate. And my position's been clear. I believe that the law should be repealed. I don't believe that you have a bad law and then you just keep making amendments, which essentially makes it worse. So my position, number one, is that I would push to have bail reform repealed, and then hopefully have enough Republicans elected that they could pass a new law. The second thing I would do is stop this war on the police. My father was a police officer. I believe that what they're doing right now is causing a division where communities and the police have a disconnect. And then lastly, I would do everything in my power to stop the rest of these criminal justice reforms like parole reform that are coming, and also work to fix what's going on in our prisons, which is an untold story that corrections officers are literally being attacked on a daily basis. There's a lot of work that has to be done, and I don't see anyone on the Democratic side that's willing to say what needs to be said. And this is dangerous and this is going on a daily basis and needs to be fixed.
Well, it's quite extraordinary. Michael, we will be watching the New York Attorney General's race, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate
your time this morning.
And have a happy Michael Henry.
And have a happy Thanksgiving.
And to you. And to you. Thank you, sir.